IVM.
My favorite link is storytel.com/IVM, which is a lovely place to go. Best books available. I'm not saying that because they're forcing me, but stop choking me. All right, I'll do it anyway. Dale Carnegie, personal hero of mine. Loved all his books, read most of them. How to Win Friends and Influence People is fabulous. That's why I'm talking to you in this way. I am hypnotizing and controlling you without your consent, but in a sense with it. And this is only done if you understand the power of reading and Dale Carnegie's thoughts and philosophy. How to Win Friends and Influence People. Don't confuse that with Arnab Goswami's How to Talk on Television and Influence People. Little different. So keep in mind that if you go through storytel.com/IVM, you get a 30-day free trial as against a 14-day free trial on the link. All right, it's very simple. All you got to do is log on to storytel.com/IVM. Millions and millions and millions of stories, many written by me. All that and more. Find it all on Storytel. Kripaya dhyan dijiye. The language used on the podcast may not be fit for consumption. We warn you, tread carefully. But listen, yaar, don't be so conservative.
You're listening to Cyrus Says.
On Cyrus Says, we meet one of India's most talented cricketers. Right-arm fast bowler, left-hand batsman, wicket-keeper, and also excellent short-leg specialist, the one and only Raunak Kapoor. Oh, I've just been told he's never actually played cricket, but he is the voice of the future. Raunak Kapoor.
Why follow your auntie's advice when you can follow Cyrus Says on Facebook and Twitter to stay updated about the latest shows?
Great news as the Indian elections is spiraling towards the end. Well, not really. It's halfway, not even halfway. Great news for me because in Ukraine, a stand-up comedian, he has a TV show, so he's more than a stand-up comedian. You stand-up comedians suck. You just have stage. He's got television. So he's now the president of the Ukraine. So that's great news for all of us funny people out here. Navjot Singh Sidhu, I know you're on the lead, but I'm coming soon. It's called Cyrus Says.
Hey Amit, what do you think about starting a dating podcast?
To be honest, I think that idea is kind of garbage.
Sure, just like dating then.
Oh, we could call it dating is garbage.
We could talk to people about their sad dating lives.
Okay, I'm not so sure about that.
And we can discuss our terrible sex lives.
Okay, definitely not that.
We could talk about how there's no such thing as love and it's all a load of crap and nothing can ever truly bring meaning to our lives.
Okay, you might need some help there.
Alright, it's a yes then. Dating is garbage. Every week, we break down all things from dating apps, social media, texting, calling, dating rules, and more with some really cool people.
Episodes out every Thursday on the IVM Podcasts app or wherever you get your podcasts.
When Raunak Kapoor was born, let me just tell you folks, you're listening to Cyrus Says. When Raunak Kapoor was born, the earth almost came to a stop. The sun was out in the sky, sparrows and crows were flying together simultaneously in synchronized effect. Dogs and cats were hugging. There was happiness and peace and prosperity, like some great human being was born. And today we have him in the studio, Raunak Kapoor, who is to be described as a commentator, an anchor, television and radio. I'm the only one who gets excited about the radio part because I grew up on Akashvani and I really want to talk about that as well. But it's been a very interesting career. How did Raunak Kapoor from, is it Juhu initially?
Yeah, Juhu initially.
From Juhu, transfer himself into this commentator on ESPN and Cricinfo and Akashvani and more than that as well. So we're going to find out all that, birth, life, the times of Raunak Kapoor, who is known in Hindi film circles as RK.
No, I'm not.
No, you're not. Obviously
Where do
not.
you come up with these introductions from?
See, it's a 40-minute show. I have to kill 5 minutes at least talking rubbish. Then you take over. Okay, Raunak, let's start right at the beginning. First and foremost, I came to the studio in Cricinfo one fine day to do some gig and I met you for the first time. It was love at first sight.
It was.
I love your hair. It stays in the same position from start to finish, unlike mine.
Until I take it off in the evening.
Yes, you and give it back to me. Okay, so cricket. But
Yes.
before that, let's go back to school because in our studio at the moment is young Janam, who's stand-in producer for Abbas.
When you say young, she is of age.
She is of age.
Yes.
Abbas is not. He's not. He's one of those guys who aged early. He's younger than her, but unfortunately he's not here right now. He's gone for his hair transplant.
Like
He'll be
Praveen
back.
Kumar.
Praveen Kumar has disappeared from now. Okay, let's segue then. What happened to Praveen? Is Praveen Kumar really insane? I heard this.
Do you know Praveen Kumar is just 1 year older than me?
Well,
You're looking at me now. and
frankly, he
that
does a
adds
few
up.
more push-ups. Yeah. Raunak, come on. We'll come back to him. Let's talk
Yes.
about you.
Sure.
So here's the interesting part. Jamna bhai.
Yes.
Okay, and the first day I met you at Cricket Info, you were actually paddling away on your comp and you were organizing an event.
Mm-hmm.
You were already organizing a big night, annual night, get-together of old boys, old girls, alumni, whatever it's called.
Yeah.
And you are the chairman emeritus for life. You're a bit like
Ratan Tata.
Jean Ping. You're the Jean Ping of Jamna bhai.
Give me something classy.
Kim Jong-un, Il.
Why not?
Yeah.
You know,
Or you would like closer to home? We have a couple of names here, or rather just the one.
go for it.
I don't have the testicles. Up to you.
So, it all connects with each other. You rightly point out, Cyrus, that we were, I speak on behalf of you without knowing how you were in school, but we weren't necessarily the brightest academically. And
Come on, you were pretty good in school. I've done all the research.
I
Don't
didn't
lie.
aspire
now,
to be
you're doing
either.
Amitabh Bachchan on me. Did he really sleep on the parapet? Or was he in a 5-star hotel?
Mr.
We don't
Bachchan.
know. Yeah, we don't know.
The only thing common between Mr. Bachchan and me is we were both rejected by Akashvani first.
Really?
Yeah.
You
and
also
that was
rejected?
told to me by my
Beta, don't feel
program
bad.
executive.
Beta, don't feel bad. Amitabh ko bhi hua.
I knew I was destined for greatness. No, but we
Greatness
had little
Please,
things.
sorry, yeah.
No, we had little things that
Oops.
drove us.
Start again.
Yes, we had little things.
Oops. Start again.
Essentially, the passion to do whatever you want to do was always there. And it turned out that I love to talk. As you know now, between the two of us, no one else gets a word in on the shows we do.
Thank God, have you heard them? There's nothing to say. They're there for furniture.
Very true. And they don't get that. We add all the content and the humor. And,
Why don't they clap more? That would give them something to do.
they're using their hands.
Write a note to self.
Yeah.
They should clap. They're using hands for little things. All right, back to the beginning.
No, so once cricket happened to be a huge part of the passion very early. And when you mention school, it's amazing how much school did for me at that point, because I never played any decent cricket. You could tell very early I was
What a
terrible.
bloody fraud. Because back in the ESPN office,
I'm the best in the office, but what
you
does that tell
organize
you
the
of the
matches
office?
and all that, and every day,
So I'm
4
the
for
kid-
26.
That's what I'm saying. I'm the kid that brings the stumps and the bat.
You're the Umesh Yadav that wasn't. Sorry.
No. I defend 26 quite regularly. in
Do
my
you?
cricket,
25
yeah.
actually at the end. Yeah.
No, but I'm the kid that brings the stumps and the bat. That's what
They're the
nothing
rich
to do
kid,
with.
so
Yeah.
they can't touch. The Zamindar's son.
I got two.
Let's talk about your roots for a second. We'll
Sure.
segue there quickly. So your Punjabi Tamil mix, which is fun. This is, I think in India, if we have to survive, we should mix everybody up. For about 10 years, I have this mix plan. Mix them up, kill their identity so people
Your
stop this.
entire community is against that idea.
Don't worry about it. I'll take care of that. as long as you give us land for sanatoriums and parking in South Bombay. No, my point is that you put everyone together in a melting pot, stir it a little bit, and for 10 years, and then bring them out. So the identity is Indian first. That Indian first has still not happened, no matter how hard this government has tried.
Yeah, I know.
Various different proposals and taxes.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I was just thinking, that's lovely. I love mixed marriages and people that come out of it. I feel the cocktails have done a lot of good. Look at John Abraham, for example, just to name one great man, and yourself. Same
Why,
school.
Thank you. Why, thank you. No,
he's
John,
Scottish.
No, he wasn't. You need to be brighter at Jamnabai.
He's Scottish. With the Junior Bachchan.
No, the mix
Show
is,
off.
The mix is fun. It's just that my mother, being her typical Iyer, proud Tamram self, just kept me completely isolated from my father's uncouth, uncultured Punjabi side. So as it turns out, I really don't know what's going on in that side of the family.
Yeah.
But I have my North Indian side's appetite and my South Indian side intellect. So
Wow.
and the height, which is a shame.
And you can dance? Both sides dance.
Like a South Indian on Bhangra, I could dance.
Orthodox or unorthodox?
Very
Yeah.
terrible. Left arm unorthodox.
There you go. Okay, back to you. Sorry. So, college. So, in college, did Raunak Kapoor know that he was going to land up in all these things? What were you going to do?
So that's what I'm saying. That
I speak about Raunak Kapoor like he's the third guy. So
I know.
Point to him.
Even
please.
I will at some point, like Mimo Chakraborty.
Like Arnab.
So, because there was an obsession with cricket, like I was one of those nerdy kids when it came to
That's
cricket. But
80% of guys.
Did you write down scores in books and all?
Of course. I had
With the whole scoreboard.
I had taken the carpenter's help to make a small hole in the desk so that I could put the small
Careful,
radio
Cyrus,
in.
where is this going?
Oh, that carpenter has left me.
Yeah, there's no glory now.
Just the hole in the desk.
No,
and
so
a hole in the head, I think.
I'll give full credit to my school because when I became this half-decent speaker, it often came at the cost of my academics. I was around doing debates everywhere in the corner, whether it was 10th grade, 9th grade, when most parents take their kids out and say, all right, now focus and study. I never had that. What it did was it inspired confidence to at least one decent thing. Cricket happened to be part of the ingrained vocabulary, like you know, with every Indian kid. And because school just gave you the complete freedom to express, it amalgamated into something decent.
Okay, so let's understand. You were average at sports. You're saying you weren't above average, but you loved your sports. You played everything.
Yes, played everything.
You obviously were a critic, because that some of us are just born into, whether you like it or not. So you're all pedagogic personality, telling people how to...
Which also explains why I picked law when I didn't have anything else
so you
to.
picked law. Okay, we'll come to that. So then you had all that going for you. You started doing well in the cultural part of it, the debates and the acting and all that, and people noticed you as a performer or speaker rather as well. And then you became head boy.
I did.
Okay, what the hell does that mean?
It's a great contribution.
Make whole jokes. Now tell me about head boy.
Why? What did they
Janam is laughing.
What did they call it? At
7 months after Me Too.
Where did you go? Weren't you at St. Mary's? What were you?
I was at Cathedral, the
you
worst
were
school.
At Cathedral.
The worst school.
What did they call the head boy in Cathedral?
A guy who had 2 drivers.
The Pope.
Watch it, brother. Right. I said don't mention, you know what, franchise, and look what you've done. Yeah.
Sorry, what is your question?
Head boy, how did that happen? You're saying you were just
the power
the
of
average
speech,
kid doesn't become the head boy. That's my point.
But the power of speech is extraordinary. All of a sudden,
is it a voting thing?
Yeah, because I'm speaking well. Oh. All of a sudden, everyone thinks I'm the
You're
ideal
a bloody
student.
Politician, Raunak Kapoor.
Yeah, but I'm diverse.
You bribed,
and I stand for tolerance.
You suddenly said North Indian and South Indian vote for me. You got all. Yeah, and there are no Maharashtrians in the school for some reason, which will cause a riot. Right. So tell us about the whole head boy experience. I love all these early stories, and then we come to the career.
I'll tell you what was fun about it, because it always seemed like I was one of those that sucked up to teachers. Right?
Were you? But you're too cocky.
I was generous.
You're a cocky boy.
But I was generous. And I also knew how to...
So your brilliance they loved, and you could be cocky with them because they enjoyed your intelligence.
Exactly,
so
and I still do that.
While the jerk who tried the same thing was like, okay, Raju, get out.
I'm sure you had the same experience.
I had some teachers who liked me and would give me a little bit of a rope. I would, but there were some who didn't.
Yeah, so what I learned is just the power of getting people to trust you. So you invest.
Machiavellian boy.
Yeah, well, something like that. Yeah. And the power of speech, just getting people to influence if you can articulate yourself.
So you had to set your own campaign and all that, and the kids vote?
Somewhat.
In the school vote, is it? Teachers?
I spoke to about 5 batches together, including Janam's. I don't even know if she remembers.
Janam, do you remember his award-winning speech?
Did she vote for me?
Did he mention GST? Achhe din.
No,
15 lakhs. Nyaya scheme.
None of that.
72,000.
None of that.
Mahagathbandhan. Something.
It was more than 10 years ago.
Yeah. More than 10 years ago?
Yeah.
Wow.
14 to be
Anyway,
precise.
so let's cut a long story short, you became the head boy.
Yeah.
And after that, your life changed.
Somewhat, because I was...
Because everybody knows who you are. I'll give you that immediately.
No,
if I
that's
mention,
not true.
No, that's true. Jamna Bai World.
Yeah, but big
I mentioned
fish,
your
small
name.
pond.
They definitely all around. They all stand up. She's dressed up for you today. I've never seen Janam like this. They've got on a Sunday best and come on a Tuesday.
This is her dressed up?
This is her dressed up.
Yeah.
This is a podcast. We don't have money. This is the best.
Absolutely no... I'll never see her again, I'm sure. Right.
No, she was genuinely happy to know you were coming. So obviously there's a connect. Now go on. Tell me more.
It was fun to the point with which you get so into school sometimes. You know, people get it's very touchy subject. Most people tell them about their school, whether they hate it or also no. Because you're from that school, you meet someone from another school, all of a sudden you become this warrior.
India, Pakistan.
Yeah,
happens,
you know, and they get very touchy about it. So you tend to invest yourself quite, fully and wholly in school. And the fact that I look back and draw my roots to school to a point where even though I wasn't a great kid academically, they continue to sort of nurture one part of my skill, which ended up being my profession.
But when you say not great in academics, you were still good. You were still above average. Okay. You weren't like 50%.
I was 60s, in the 60s.
60s in the 90s.
Is not great.
No,
so I got an 80.
15 years ago, something 15 years ago, because now it's all changed.
I got an 80 suddenly in my boards, but otherwise before that...
lying scallywog.
Yeah,
which is a Punjabi word,
but that was very
scallywog!
That was ordinary. I gave 2 re-prelims, so that wasn't fun.
As in you do them again?
Yeah.
Which ones?
Physics and chemistry.
Wow.
Yeah, I know.
No South Indian there, huh?
they were so disappointed.
The iron side must have disowned you immediately.
Yeah,
Physics and Chem, there's not a single Tambra who's failed it.
But then my sister decided to do literature, so they completely relegated her.
Oh my God. Where is she from? Madhya Pradesh? It's not working out at all.
They never even asked her how she was doing.
I want DNA tests. I think you guys are from Rajasthan.
No, it's actually a funny story. We went to my mum's maternal uncle and aunt, who are 2 retired astrophysicists from the Baba Institute and BARC and whatnot.
Yeah.
And for them, they've got about 18 awards, 12 PhDs, and no kids. So it all adds up.
Built rockets by 9, but no kids.
Yeah, so they only asked me and my older sister, who did biomedical engineering, what we were doing, how was college, because I was doing law. Law was still quite coveted in the South and whatnot. But
it's still coveted.
Yeah, but nobody ever asked.
Nobody follows it, but that's another story.
Nobody ever asked someone who in arts. They literally looked at it and said, you're doing arts. Nobody cares about you. So I was a bad student, but because I picked the right professions, my optics were always good, which sums up my life, quite frankly. The optics were good. Every parent used to see me, oh my God, this guy is the guy to be.
I want to hear the Iyer impression one more time. You just threw it in there.
No.
How about you being in arts?
No, I'm not.
Come on.
It's okay. She's on her last. No, she's not.
Stop it.
Right.
This is a happy podcast. Don't give me any of that in the middle.
It doesn't air in Cochin though.
Oh, it's a podcast. Now you're behaving like me.
This is Akashwani.
You're the geek. I'm the tech retard.
Anyway,
all right, listen. Now
we're digressing.
I've got so much more to talk about.
Come on.
Now you become head boy in the school, and you sort of have a better confidence and an idea about who you are.
Yeah.
What do you want to do?
I want to talk. Because somehow I've just realized that I need something that can keep me yapping. If I had to confine myself to a desk, it just wouldn't work. You know, there's a Harry Potter scene where if you watch
your generation, it all comes back to bloody Harry Potter.
Why not? Harry Potter's for every generation.
Yes.
Don't you watch it?
I love the glasses.
You look like a piece of magic to me. And ironically, this is from a film called Fantastic Beasts, where I think you would fit in the cast.
Fantastic Beasts is Harry Potter.
Yeah, it's a spin-off.
I thought it's a different show altogether.
It's a spin-off. It's like how Ram Gopal Verma made James and made something.
Or Sarkar meets James. One of those. Okay, go on.
There's a part in that which shows what you fear the most, and there's this really creative guy who fears.
Oh, they all can see.
Yeah, it's called a Bogart. I'm going to educate you on Harry Potter a little bit.
No, but I think I've seen about it. Yeah. I have a daughter. I had to sit through all of them.
You're so disappointed you have a daughter. You wanted a son, didn't you? You sick man.
But the son sort of didn't look at Harry Potter that much. He was more interested in Brett Lee, and then he moved to Liverpool. So I was okay.
Brett Lee's also interested in many.
Brett Lee may be the father. We don't even know.
No. So there's this line where he says the thing that I fear the most is having to work on a desk. Right? And honestly, I was petrified of that. Whenever I sat in one place, I got restless. I might have had some mental disorder, but I never diagnosed it back then. So now, as things go on, I just look back and say that I had to do something which kept the interest alive.
But going back, you also like commentary, as in
I loved it. I used to sit at home and do it. Hold a Nicel powder ka.
So did Ravi Shastri,
doing it.
By the way. Huh?
I was good though.
He put the volume off and he used to do the commentary.
So I used to do that. I used to listen to a lot of commentary. And
why Nicel
that
powder?
era?
Why did you choose Nicel?
My mother is like
why
Nicel
not Surfaraz? Surfaraz powder is steroidal based, and also it's for really bad rashes.
I'm glad I know Harry Potter, not this.
When it comes to rashes, I don't know my Porto, but I know my rashes. I can help you with rashes.
But that's what I used to do. Games used to go on. I used to pretend to be commentator. I wanted to be.
Did you do the accents and all that with the different West Indian and?
I'm not Gavaskar.
The Tony Cozier and Gavaskar's Trini. You had to bring that up now.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying that I mimic when I'm good. So I'll save myself the. I mean, Vikram Sathe has made a life out of this. So why take it? Why steal his thunder?
Now. It's gone back into marketing.
We're still trying.
No, so did you really think about commentary at that point as a 16-year-old boy?
So Harsha was an idol, right? Because the bald Harsha that we used to see back then.
Yeah, before he got hair and reverse science.
No, but
who grows hair later? Only apes. It doesn't make sense.
Well,
I tell Harsha.
There are a few of them now.
No, he did. Let's give him his due.
No, and he created a new profession that we didn't know existed, right? The non-cricketer who goes and talks cricket. He represented all of us.
Well, he played university cricket in Hyderabad.
So did I.
In Hyderabad,
but I'm honest about my achievements.
He played with Azhar in the same team. Well, yeah.
Anyway, when Azhar used to play.
Good point you bring up, because Harsha is almost like doesn't exist anymore now.
No, that's not fair. Harsha is still.
No, it was a different. I'm saying he came in and he actually did active commentary, as against you guys who have to do the studio stuff and then they cut to the experts.
Because Harsha came in at a time when not too many people actually wanted to make commentary part of their
They didn't have these rules.
They want just good right time, right place. No, he was damn good. Make no mistake about it.
Also, radio first.
And a radio commentator.
Which we'll come to again with you.
Yeah.
So that radio entry, and radio is filled with people who are experts and don't necessarily have to play cricket. Christopher Martin Jenkins, the names that come to mind from England.
Lots of retired army officers in AI.
That we'll come to, because that's your story.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I'm interrupting Harsha. Harsha was a...
So Harsha became this, everyone needs something like a role model. It sounds a bit cheesy, but you need something, right?
And both yours have glasses.
Yeah, so he...
Harry Potter and Harsha.
Yeah, correct.
Almost like the Indian Harry Potter.
Harry Potter's a greater work of fiction, though.
Yeah.
Or rather, Harsha's a greater work of fiction.
I haven't seen Harsha's wand. Back to you, sir.
Oh, Cyrus.
Oh, Raunak.
All right. So, as cheesy as it is, it's like everyone needs that main Madhuri Dixit banna chahti hu face.
What are your references? You're now talking to me, the younger people listening.
Somebody wanted to be Cyrus. What did Cyrus Rocha want to be? What did you want to be?
Is the girl.
You wanted to be. What did you want to be?
Alia Bhatt.
You wanted to be Pooja Bhatt.
I said Alia Bhatt 5 times.
Yeah, you probably wanted to be Pooja Bhatt.
I want to be Amitabh Bachchan. I grew up 80s films.
Anyway, to get back to it, Harsha became this thing that, I really want to do everything I can to try and do what he does, right? And every step after that just was done consciously with that. I went to a college which I didn't want to go to in my junior college.
Which one is that?
NM, SVKM.
So the love for Jamnabai doesn't go into NM as well?
It doesn't transfer to NM at all. I should have gone to HR. I didn't go because my mother bribed me that you can drive to college every day then.
But you could have driven to HR also for the petrol.
You should know Andheri to
So what? You're a college kid as if you have so much to do. 1 ghanta, 2 ghanta, ho jayega.
Yeah, but anyway, so I never enjoyed that. And that time the plan was to be a CA like my dad. And that didn't turn out at all. Then law happened.
Were you good with figures? Okay, leave that. Yeah. Move on.
Then law happened because I didn't know what I wanted to do academically, and this dream of wanting to be a broadcaster is not going to materialize.
And how do you start? There was no process to follow.
There is mass media, but I was arrogant about mass media.
What is mass media?
It's called BMM.
Oh, to do the course.
Yeah.
But how will that help you become a commentator?
So it would teach me nothing that I already didn't know because my skill set was different. I didn't want to really aspire to be a producer, even though that would be one route. Yeah. So I just thought I'll secure something, more solid. And law was great.
But what about Harsha Ki Khoj?
So I wasn't 18 at that time. I was 17.
You were underage for Harsha Ki Khoj?
Yeah.
Sachin was underage for India. He played at 16.
Yeah, but the second time it happened, I didn't go through because I realized now that I started doing commentary with horrible accents, like the AIR guys.
Oh.
So it didn't work.
You followed our heroes and it didn't work.
Yeah, well.
Okay, listen, we have to take a break because you've talked too much. When we come back, we're going to go into the life of radio and television, which is your life now.
Got it.
Raunak Kapoor, also known as RK, is available for private parties and dances from 5 to 7 every evening. We'll be back. Is it true?
I've performed at yours.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
I was the only one watching.
Look! Up in the internet! It's a meme! No! It's a cat video! No! It's the Geek Fruit Podcast!
That's right, we interrupt this riveting broadcast to tell you about our show, the Geek Fruit Podcast, where Tejas, Dinkar and I, Jishnu, talk about everything in pop culture, including DC, Marvel, Star Wars, Netflix, and everything in between.
You know how your friends hate it when you ramble about some nerdy crap and you just want somebody to listen to you? Well, sorry, there's nothing we can do about that, but come listen to us ramble and it'll almost be like the real thing. Kind of.
Listen to new episodes of the Geek Fruit Podcast every Monday and the Geek Fruit Bulletin every Thursday on iTunes, Google Podcasts, the IVM app, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Happy listening, you nerds.
All right, back here after the break with Ronnie. Do they call you Ronnie?
Some people do. Daryl Cullen does.
Yeah, damn him, he's so lazy. He's the one who sent the wife.
I'm his only friend in the world.
Yeah, can you tell the story or is it too private?
What?
When he sent the wrong email.
I could actually. Daryl find it very funny. So Daryl went through this is a great way to start a funny story. Daryl went through a terrible divorce.
Yeah.
And was fighting with his now his ex-wife in court about maintenance and whatnot. And he had to show that he had no income. Poor Daryl's had many businesses collapse. Right. And he had to... He had to show in court that he's got absolutely no income, which at that point in 2014, we just engaged him to do some work with us for the India-South Africa series, right? And we sent our editor-in-chief is a very clumsy man. He's a clumsy genius.
Right.
So he had to send Daryl a contract, and he happened to send it to an old email ID in spite of Daryl giving him one, which she got.
Use as well.
Yes, and she produced it in court, saying that look at this fraud and this liar.
So quick info basically brought down the business.
Oh yeah, and he ended up getting convicted for falling behind on his child maintenance and whatnot. We still try and give him work, but he's got other expenses.
You guys. Yeah. Lovely story and healing the world one cricket at a time. But now let's get back to Akashvani. So you did the BMM course.
No, so I ended up doing law and that was a GLC. Now that's relevant only because GLC in Churchgate is about 5 minutes from Akashvani. It's a 5-minute walk.
Right.
Yeah. So, and GLC's most wonderful thing was that attendance wasn't an issue.
Nobody pays attention.
We still went regularly.
Some of the finest legal minds have gone through that.
Absolutely,
system.
And they still continue to. So we used to have like ex-judges and current judges and senior counsels walk around and help clean the corridors.
And the 6 a.m. class, you go to sleep immediately.
I went one day.
Yeah.
That's
6 to 7, 7:30, then you wake up.
But I was again one of those committee kids, doing events and stuff like I was in Jamnabai. So that continued, and because we were in college the whole day and you didn't have to attend lectures, the odd time you got free from committee work.
Sarkar.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. It's gone now. Burger King's come.
Burger King costs so much more.
Yeah.
Of course, if they want to endorse it, I would do it.
There's Rustam ji also.
I love Rustam ji. But I'm a South Bombay boy.
Rustam, yeah,
of course. Those sandwiches and all. Terrible, but still lovely.
Absolutely, yeah.
When the world has moved forward with ice cream and all, it's so backward, but it's tasty in a way.
Yeah, there were 3 or 4 things. The Gaylord's was there. The most overpriced fried eggs you'll find.
But best butter chicken in the world.
Really?
Yeah. And Camling is just closed down. Very good deal.
Gambling, the Chinese one.
Only people give you half.
Chopsticks was better.
Yeah, but then
we're alienating a lot of the millennial audience.
We are. And you're proving to be stuck between my generation and yours.
Yeah, I'm somewhere there. Janam's already switched off.
She's gone to Churchgate Station.
Yeah. Okay.
To go take the train back. Right.
Sorry. So
Akashwani.
AIR is not far away. You have some free time, and there was an India-Bangladesh game the previous day.
Right.
I had heard the commentary on Akashwani.
They would broadcast it the day after?
No, I heard the commentary, and I thought it was actually terrible. I don't know. Have you? What's your rating of Akashwani commentary?
I spend time in the car, so I've been from childhood. I have to listen. There was no option, but now I'm one of those guys who actually listens, because if I'm stuck and I want to hear the half the time they don't have rights anymore, but it's still there. The English-Hindi thing for me is one of the most beautiful pieces of comedy ever, because they talk together, and the English guy will speak in English, the Hindi guy will speak in Hindi. They have this disconnected conversation, and the world.
You think it's disconnected?
Well, it's sort of connected, but see, we're okay. We can basically understand, but there are lots of people who understand one or the other. So I'm just thinking what they're going through.
I mean, it's the basic premise, right? The north of the country doesn't really follow English. The south of the country has no idea of Hindi.
Yeah.
And there are other pockets as
Compromise.
well. So you need to find a way. And somewhere the Hindi guys still do a little bit of English. Yeah. But the English guys are
That's because there's so many English words in cricket. Like they have to say wicket. They don't say anything else for wicket.
Yeah. So
Dhimi pitch. What's the word for pitch? Why can't they say another word? Come on, big shot, Raunak Kapoor, come on.
I do English.
You do Hindi as well, huh? I've heard you.
Oh God, that's terrible.
Bolo. So how did you get in?
I decided with a friend of mine, I said, you know what, we've got some time off. Yesterday's commentary was terrible. I'm just going to go to AIR Bombay and let's see if we can meet someone in the sports cell. So he walked around with me, and with great confidence, again, so speaking comes in. With great confidence, I told that lovely retired, nearing retirement age peon at the AIR desk, I said, sports section kute hai. Right, and he, because I said it with such, he didn't even doubt.
Nobody's ever asked this question of him in 25 years. So he just, he himself didn't know.
And immediately he sort of guided me. I didn't even do an entry at that point. So I walked up, and there was a lady's name outside. And I'll be fair, I judged. I thought, oh my God, they've got a woman, who will have no idea about commentary.
You made a sexist thought.
I did.
Me too.
I'm being genuine about it.
How accurate is that? No, go on.
I genuinely thought, right? And I said, oh God, this is going to be so much harder to try and explain to her.
Pre-Mandira, post-Mandira?
2010, so definitely post-Mandira.
Okay.
Right? And I waited. She wasn't even in her office. The office was open. So I just sat inside. And she then walked in. And she said yes. So I was very happy she said yes, because that was a word in English.
Yeah.
Right. So
also, it was her first meeting in 3 months with anyone. Yeah.
So I said, hi ma'am, I gave my introduction. I said, I've been listening to commentary for a few years. I thought last night's commentary of the India-Bangladesh game was terrible.
You said terrible?
I said terrible. I said the word terrible. And she looked at me, she started laughing. She said, I agree. So she sat down with me, and she ordered a cup of tea, which I had to pay for. And,
wow. Welcome to AIR.
Because
is this really true?
Yeah, because they didn't have change.
Are you kidding
So
me?
you have to, at that point, every employee of AIR...
She offered you tea?
Yeah, she offered me tea.
And then she asked you to pay for it?
No, because she came and she gave a 100 rupee note. He didn't have change. So I took out the change and I just sort of...
So you ingratiated yourself with her by offering to pay because
something
of the change.
Like that. So I took her to tea.
So it was a bribe, your first bribe.
Yeah,
you took her to tea.
Something like that. So it taught me, and we had a chat for 1 hour about how the nepotism in AIR, the deteriorating standards of radio broadcast, why it's not relevant.
Deteriorating standards?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
No, seriously. Well,
yeah. Where do you start?
But that's the point, right? She said best talent.
She got where you were coming from.
Why are the best RJs not in the government broadcaster? Why do they all go to FM and sit and do music chat shows only? Because radio is alive everywhere else. Radio dying medium is a myth because it's alive and the BBC is still active.
Correct.
Australia still got its radio. The US is big on
Forget that interplanetary radio to Mars, Monty Python to Roger.
Why did I think of Om?
I don't know. I think present government.
I have such a
See, you got the memo.
Yeah. So it gave me we had a lovely 1 hour chat, and it sort of just, it comes down to teaching me one thing in hindsight, just the right person at the right time. Right?
No, actually it's the enterprise involved where you just walked in.
I walked in.
Who does that?
Fair enough. But I chanced my luck. I could have easily been told by that peon, get lost.
But I'm saying, the karma starts from the point when you walked in. Then it all flows for you. But the fact that you walked in, A, you had the BLLS to do that. And B, it was almost bizarre to do that. I would think it would be, why would you think that it would
it's such a strange
go through the
thing
door
to decide to do.
and there's this lady and you'll have tea and next thing you know,
so why don't you trace back again to the ability to just want to question, the ability to want to sort of, just, which again comes to school. So
and you were actually just frustrated and angry.
I was irritated
With
that this
Bangladesh
sort of
India
talent is
performance.
there. I was like one of those kids, like, God, I can do a better job here. And I wasn't vain or arrogant about it. I was genuinely like, come on, these guys can't articulate half the names. They get the names wrong. I sometimes used to watch and listen, like my grandfather used to. Watch the TV and have the radio on, and I could see how much they're getting wrong, factually.
Yeah.
So I used to just go like, God, there have to be better people
And
out
for the
there.
record, Shakib Al Hassan are 3 different words. And in India,
Shakibul.
It's too much. Right, so go on. So what happened
I went
then?
on, met with her. I told her I have no background in media. She says there are people who have backgrounds in media that aren't good enough. So here's a really enterprising woman. Her name's Ujjwala Srinivas, right?
So Ujjwala Srinivas should be given credit for your
absolutely
growth.
And she speaks about just generally how talent is always suppressed. And do you know at that time the procedure to get into a commentator was you had to record a CD and send it to Delhi.
Oh, wow.
Right? And they conduct auditions at their fancy.
Yeah.
And there hadn't been audition done for 18 years.
Wow.
In 18 years, there are CDs that are coming for 18 years. So there are whatever.
So what do you do with the CDs?
So there's a good chance
they tape over it.
There was a thing that somebody sent in a CD. By the time they got heard and checked and all, they actually died.
Wow, beautiful story.
Yeah.
You really bring a sense of romance to this story.
Just keeping it light.
Yeah.
So
kill some more. We have time.
So I did what she asked me to. I recorded, sent CD. She gave me a local show there, right? And I've told you the story. I think she said what I can do for you is give you a local show called Sports Magazine in AIR Mumbai every Tuesday, but I can only give you one Tuesday every 3 months because of the anti-nepotism policy that they have. So she said, but you have to get your own guest, and if I don't have a recorder, you'll have to record as well at Akashvani, and it's a beautiful setup.
What do you mean if I don't have a recorder?
Because they have to give leaves to their staff and whatnot, so they don't have they're understaffed.
But they can't even guarantee you. This may or may not happen. That's what I really like.
They said you have to do it yourself.
Yeah.
So I said, okay, fine, I'll do it. I'll do whatever I have to. I had no connection cricket. Chandrakant Pandit was my cricket coach.
Yeah.
He wasn't available.
Chandrakant Pandit, who is now the coach with the best record in the history of the India.
Yeah. So, but I wasn't his greatest product.
Yeah, I can see that. But where is he now? Yeah.
Anyway, so Chandu sir wasn't available, and I happened to get a contact of Pillu reporter of all people.
But Thane, na?
Yes, and Pillu reporter. I had to arrange for his transport. This is pre-Uber days. So
he was the one who took on Viv Richards and Javed Miandar.
That's the one. Correct. Yeah, and then me.
You were the worst of the trio, was it? Yeah.
So I paid for Pillu Reporter's Meru cab from Thane, and I waited for him to come.
This is all investment for you because I'm sure there's not much money coming in.
Nothing. And he's decided to stop in Dadar to meet relatives.
Dadar Parsi colony.
But I didn't factor all that.
But you don't know.
Then he came, finished his interview.
There. You have to go and meet Keke.
This was just when DRS was oozing, so that was the conversation we had. We did a nice 35-40 minutes.
Didn't I explain to you about neutral umpires and how he took on Vivian Richards and how he can Miandar talks in Gujarati?
My God, this is just deja vu for me, Cyrus.
Really? And I live close by.
All of you are related, I think.
Go on.
So I sent him
a lovely story. So he's almost like part of the AR framework. He stops in the other. He's going to have a cup of tea.
That's it.
And he's going to come.
And Pillu Reporters walked in. He's about 82 years old or whatever it is.
Yeah, but he's lovely.
We've had this chat. He's lovely. Great fun. And then finally he leaves in the same Meru cab. So I have paid about...
Holding?
Yeah.
You held the cab?
I've paid about...
1,000?
Yeah, 2,500 rupees for his cab. I get a check.
Marky truth.
I get it.
We have to abuse. We have to abuse. You have to abuse at this point. How can you not abuse? I can't...
He's an 80-year-old man.
This is your North Indian side.
This is
your North Indian side. What is wrong with you? You spent 2.5 grand in investing in Pillu Reporter.
But AIR reimbursed some of that.
You could have got Sachin in 2.5 grand. In 1990.
They gave me a check of 582 rupees for my efforts.
Excellent.
Yeah. So that's how it starts. But it gave me something.
So today, how much in debt are you? Because there have been so many shows.
Let's not get this, Cyrus. I just have a lot of top-ups to my personal loans. I'll just put it there.
Okay, but this is a very fascinating story. So it was a good...
So Pillu started that way. Then Ayaz Memon happened through AIR. Because of my legal background and I was studying law, Ujjwala gave me legal interviews to do. So I started interviewing retired officers, including YP Singh, who used to most of it was censored out because he kept smashing Rahul Gandhi.
Yeah, and that point. Yes. Now he smashes
then there were a couple of retired judges as well that happened. There was these panel discussions.
Close.
Suresh Hosbit, if you've heard of him.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, okay. So there we go. So a lot of these, and I started doing a lot of work.
And you built a portfolio.
I built something. Yeah. And then I wrote one day to Sambit Bal, the editor-in-chief of Cricinfo, on Facebook.
And you were obviously a big Cricinfo sort of...
Yes, and I wrote to him on Facebook.
Yeah.
Right? And I told him, this is what I do. I've done a little work with AIR. I'd love to be a writer. That because I didn't think Cricinfo has video.
And that's what he is basically also.
And I said, eventually I want to get into broadcast, but I'd love to write for Cricinfo. And he just said, come see me. So that just happened. I had no connection with Sambit Bal, other than the fact that his kids went to Jamnabai, but I had no connection with his kids also.
now it all makes sense.
It makes sense, doesn't it?
Okay.
But I knew his kids as
the mafia,
the
the godfather
Sambit
of Jamnabai had to just pick up the phone and boom, boom.
You try your luck, right? What could possibly have gone wrong? I walked into AR, the worst could have happened is they would have told me to leave. I wrote to Sambit Bal, the worst could have happened is he wouldn't have replied.
I think we're making fun, but I think it's a fabulous story. I really do.
So?
I think these are the stories, they say one or two things change your life.
Yeah.
If you look back into your entire life,
Absolutely.
any human being's life, just one or two events change their life.
That's it.
And that's it. And if you didn't do that, probably a lawyer today.
Because it's sort
fighting
of...
Cricket Info's court cases.
BCCIs.
Sorry, against BCCI.
No, because of sort of... I remember how much that him replying to me on Facebook meant... I get a lot of people that actually message me on Facebook now after watching whatever on Cricket Info. I have made it a point to always reply.
Okay, listen, we're running out of time, and before we... I have so much more to talk to you. No. Yeah. I want to just... Now you've interviewed all these cricketers, you've spent time...
Edit the whole Jamnabai hit and let's start now.
No. South Africa. You went to South Africa, you spent time...
I went to the World Cup in Australia.
Yeah. So you've been around, you've met a lot of cricketers, you're on first name basis with them. Many of them named their kids after you, I don't know why.
Yes, true. They're my kids as well.
Ronnie is one name that comes to mind of Essex fame and England. Yeah. So give us a couple of stories. Who are your favourites?
Oh, great stories. Okay, Ian Chappell has to be one of the best people you'll work with.
You love Ian Chappell.
Yeah, he's as simple as if he's tired, he'll just move 2 chairs out and he'll sleep on the floor. So he's very Indian.
He is. Yeah. He won't use the chairs.
There's no starstruck, nothing. And in fact, we worked in the 2014 series, and obviously the hours were long. India were in England, and he used to just get a little snoozy in the afternoons. So he took his bag and he just kept it on the floor and he used it as a pillow and he went to sleep. Now I just stepped out for a bit. And I used to keep making fun. I'm an ageist as well, so I keep making fun of how old he was. And I used to keep showing that on the show as well, telling him that he was...
Ageist, racist, sexist.
Yeah, it's all there.
So far, so good.
You bet.
Yeah.
And I walked in and I see Ian Chappell flat on the ground, eyes closed, mouth open. And I feared the worst.
Oh no. Again, you've killed 3 people already on this show. No mas, I say.
And I sort of went, I said, Chappelli? And he didn't say anything.
Did you kick the body?
I actually took a picture.
Oh.
Thinking that what if this is
before or after?
Yeah.
Or just after?
Oh. No, and then finally when he rose, and this
is 2 days after Easter.
He's a keen drinker. Yeah. So the Chappell rose.
Yeah.
He's a keen drinker.
Rose is also wine. Look at the connections we've got.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
On his way out, on our last day of work, I just said, Chappelli, if you live long enough, we'll work again, and we did.
Thank God. You had me for a second.
And we continue to. So no, but Ian Chappell remains in spite of the authority he is in cricket, he is humble.
He calls a spade a spade.
He's honest to himself.
What is his call on Greg as a coach?
He said that Greg was fine, it's just that he couldn't work with Indians.
With the Indian stars or the Indians?
Yeah, because of the superstar culture that we had. Yeah. He said Greg has his ways.
He's got along well with Rahul though. Dravid.
Ian or Greg.
Greg and Dravid were okay.
That's a great point you bring up, because in cricket circles we often make Greg Chappell the villain, not realising that everything he did was with Rahul Dravid, who's the saint of Indian cricket. And who genuinely
styles the same. We'll work hard, we'll run laps.
But Rahul agreed to pretty much everything that Greg had to offer to the dressing room.
Yeah.
So if you're putting accountability, put it to both. That's all I would say.
Yeah.
And that's after having worked with Rahul as well.
But also, maybe there was a few personal issues with, say, Zahir and him and Viru and him. Those kind of Sachin and him later.
It just became a huge clash of egos. Yeah. You know how Indians can get sometimes.
So you can't basically tell our stars how to behave.
Greg Chappell's a soft target now. Yeah. He wasn't the right man at that point.
Yeah.
But it's a shame that we only go after him. But anyway, so that's...
Couple of others, quickly.
Ian Chappell was one great story.
Indian, who's your favourite Indian commentator that you worked with?
I have worked a lot with Ajit Agarkar and Sanjay Manjrekar.
Yeah.
Yeah, almost like more than I would have liked.
You're like part of their families now.
Yeah. And to sort of think of a good
one's
story...
One's a golfer, one's a singer, occasionally they do cricket.
Yeah, something like that. And they're actually better at the other things.
I think so, but don't tell them. Or they know probably, yeah. So I think both of them are little unsung heroes. Agarkar himself...
So what's great is every sportsman story is great fun. You know, because whether they made it successful or not, in fact, the better stories are the ones that didn't necessarily become big cricketers. And you look back at Sanjay, who's become a better broadcaster than he was a cricketer.
4 test centuries all abroad, okay, which is not too many Indian batsmen even today.
But there were greater expectations of Sanjay.
After that, yes, and it probably didn't, that orthodoxy and this and that. We don't have time to get into
anyway,
it. Anyway,
I'm trying to think of a good story between the two of them. It's hard if you'd have told me.
Who's a difficult? Have you had anybody who's a little difficult?
I'll tell you this one.
Question.
This is a good story.
Yeah.
There's a guy called Stuart McGill.
Of course.
Yeah.
The leggy.
He is crazy.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, he's crazy. He just suddenly, he once threatened to whack me on air.
But in jest or real?
No. I had started laughing.
Was it because of the order, the food order?
No.
Because we have this guy in cricket who always gets the food order wrong.
That's true.
And you're responsible. You're the translator. So
that man hadn't even been born yet.
Oh, damn.
This is before
so
that.
Quick. What's the story?
The story was that Stuart McGill used to have these mood swings, right? And while we were working on a show, I happened to, I was told by the producer to cut and go to break. And I had to go to break and I sort of cut him off. And that's all I did. And we had a great working rapport before that.
As in, Stuart, sorry, we're stopping here. We'll be back after the break. Was it that or more?
No. It was, we're ending the lunch show and he said, okay, and that chat we'll have at tea time. So that's what it was. It was all that, right? And the content is irrelevant. The point was I had to cut in because I was told to.
Right.
And he says, what did you just do? And I looked at him and I said, sorry, Stewie. So he says, what did you just do? And I thought he's sort of just making fun. I was like, so sorry, we had to just cut. We were off time. We'll pick this up. I know we were off time. I said, don't you know that we weren't off time? I said, I'm going to smash your face. And then I just sort of, that smile of mine just
that's
shrunk.
Too much anger it doesn't warrant it.
But this is 5 minutes later, we're inside the room and he was genuinely, everyone was shocked. And we went into the changing room and I was just sitting, he comes from behind, he says, hey buddy! And he gives me this big bear hug.
So was he angry or was he joking?
I was more petrified than ever. I have no idea what he's done.
So I think he was joking.
No, then I realized he's a drunkard. And he went back to Australia and sued Cricket Australia for 300 million.
Because they pricked Shane Warne over him?
And had a divorce as well. So like Sadhvi Pragya, I cursed him. And then he went back.
Your metaphors are not necessary. The man, come on, he didn't do anything.
Anyway, no. So that was a scary story. There have been no real difficult people that I've worked with.
Yeah.
They've actually been pretty okay. They've all been mentally damaged.
Yeah, but the hard things that an anchor goes through, people don't know quickly as we wind this up, keep you back with the AMAs, of course, is that the things that irritate you, like morning coffee, tea, late nights, you work sometimes 18-20 hours without stopping.
Like the Indian League, the top T20 league, is circus, 55 days on the trot or 45 days on the trot.
Yeah.
So we work non-stop.
And all nights, man. It's just terrible. What happens to your love life? You're recently engaged. Is she still with you?
She is.
All right. You don't want to talk about it?
No.
Suddenly clamped up. No Harry Potter story there? No glasses off on this one?
Actually, the 2 months away from her is the reason we're together for the rest of the year.
Right.
Yeah.
But isn't there a big thing? A
wedding.
Big tent and all that? Yeah. When is that?
Once I've paid off my loans.
So when is that? All this is because of Akashwani and the money you invested in guests? Hilo reporter being only the first of many?
Yeah, the debt that it's put me in. But it's okay. My future's secure. I've married well.
Yeah, apparently. We'll come back to that. My future's secure because I voted correctly, apparently. All right, as we end this, of course, Raunak, we'll get you back many times, hopefully.
Sure. Thank you, Cyrus.
We didn't get to talk cricket, but I think we'll have you on a couple of other shows and get to talk more cricket there.
Yeah, because you were so obsessed with Jamnabai for some reason.
No, but I won't talk about you. This is your biopic. This is the really cheap version.
Yeah.
When you become really big and famous, there'll be a better one with Dhoni scoring 25 of the last over to take you home,
of course,
to victory. But as we end, any other assignments that we haven't that are coming up?
The World Cup.
Will you be going to England?
No, I'm going to Goregaon.
You're going to Parel.
Oh, no,
Goregaon.
Even better. Yeah,
that's like a visit.
My boss has decided that he can replicate the England experience in Goregaon East.
Of course you can.
And I think he's right.
I would say come to Leopold in South Mumbai. It'll all be fine. All right, cheers. So we'll stay with us for the AMAs?
Yes.
God bless you.
Thank you, Cyrus.
We leave you with running commentary from the voice of Raunak Kapoor. 2 steps gully, right arm over the wicket.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to a great new week of shows on the IVM Podcast Network. If you're not following us on social media, please make sure you do. And if you're not by now, why aren't you? You really, really should. We're IVM Podcast on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. This week, we got a couple of new shows launching. The first one we have is 80KT Talent 10. The show is hosted by Rohit P. Man Pereira and Krupa Goyal. They're joined by the best talent from college classrooms across the country. Tune in every Tuesday for music, poetry, and fun ramblings. Business.next by Bloomberg Quint. Learn about what it takes to nurture a culture of constant innovation in business and shape an organization. It's hosted by Govindraj Ethiraj and new episodes are out every Tuesday. The Equity Sahi Hai podcast is brought to you by the Motilal Oswal Asset Management Company. It's hosted by our very own Anupam Gupta and offers deep investment insights into sectors and stocks in a simple way. New episodes out every Tuesday. On The Scene and the Unseen, Amit Verma talks to Salman Soz of the Indian National Congress. He talks about his shift from economics to active politics and the disappointment of the last 5 years of the BJP government. Amit questions him about dynastic politics in the Congress and mistakes the UPA made in their reign. On the Ronnie Screwvala podcast, Dreaming with Your Eyes Open, Ronnie talks to me about his early life, moving from Grant Road to Breach Candy, organizing a rock concert in his youth, and taking calculated risks in life. On our new Parsi food show, Not Just Dansak, Parzen Patel talks to archaeologist and food historian Kurush Dalal about the evolution of Parsi food and its historical trajectory so far. On Golgappa, Trupti is joined by dubbing artist Sanket Matre, the voice behind Hawkeye, Shazam, Deadpool, and Pikachu in the upcoming Pokemon movie. On IVM Likes, the IVM staffers are decoding the movie of the year, Avengers Endgame. Beware of spoilers on that one. On Shunya One, Sheila Ditya and I are joined by founder and CEO of M-Pani, Akanksha Hazari. We talk about the future of retail in India and how M-Pani is building a local ecosystem powered by technology. On States of Anarchy, Hamsini talks to John Shaws, a fellow at the Center for Strategic and International Studies, to discuss U.S. priorities in the Indo-Pacific. And with that, let's get you on with your show.
If you have any questions for Cyrus, write to us on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. Or you can send an email to whatcyrussays@gmail.com.
Okay, it's AMA time. Stop saying okay like it's MTV. I apologize.
Why not say okay?
Because you get excited and realize why. It's like after marriage.
Why do you start a sentence with okay?
I don't know. I think, you know why? I'll tell you why. Because when we were doing shows at MTV and all, I would just switch off until they say action because it takes so long to start. So if I'm doing something, they say, okay, bro, we're ready to roll. Action. Oh, okay. It'll be like that.
No, but okay is one of those words which you use to just give your mind like a segment to kind of start, right?
To remember you're here and you're not bathing in your own lovely bathtub playing with your jewels.
Okay.
Jewels as in handed down by my grandmother.
Okay.
Which only our people have a custom of for some reason.
All right.
Amit,
okay.
Introduce yourself.
So this first question is from Gaurav Bapat. I like to move fast and get things done quickly. I have no problems with PDA and romance, but what to do with lovebirds who, 1, walk slowly, holding hands right in front of you in a narrow aisle or on a staircase, occupy gym equipment and just talk, crossroads slowly without... Basically, what do you do with lovebirds?
No one has the right to be slow. I would have a slow tax. There's nothing that irritates me more. Firstly, those
there is
lists,
a significant amount of mentally challenged people that are not okay
you've said
with these
all
comments.
the most correct things and you're telling me about politically correctness. What the hell are you talking about? I'm talking about lifts that take so long to open, the old-fashioned lifts.
Right.
They drive me mad. They reach the 4th floor and then they take a little 5-7 seconds to actually do that last 2 inches. And I'm like, what the hell's going on?
But you're talking about the ones where the doors are shut?
The doors are the double door thing, and it takes a little time for the door to actually click into action.
But it does it with the new lifts too, because they cheat on the new lifts, right? On the new lift, they tell you you're on the floor that you're supposed to be when you're still 3 floors down.
3 floors down, yeah. Coming up is 4th floor.
In which corridor do you have to walk behind couples that hold hands slowly?
Movies, colleges, places like that where lovers meet, Parliament, I don't know. I'm not familiar.
I don't know Gaurav, but I have seen this happen in movies quite often.
But it irritates me. He's right. Gaurav is absolutely right. I mean, you have your love. No one's against your love, but don't come on my way.
Stand on the side. Actually, dude, I just at the airport the other day, man. I mean, like this couple standing on that walkway.
Yeah.
And they just the walkway, you're supposed to stand to the left so that people on the right can walk past.
But to be honest,
that thing India's never known. He's absolutely right that you stand on the left bit of the travelator.
Never.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, choose the wrong one, but stand on one
one
side. In the middle.
Yeah. And no, but 2 people holding hands in the middle of the damn thing. So.
Yeah. Or holding whatever. But that's not our point. My point is to play devil's advocate. They were on Jet Airways, so they'd gone through a rough patch. All they had was each other.
They had to push the aircraft.
Literally. Yeah. It's a very sad story. We'll come to that.
Okay. All right. Next question. This is Shoaib from Toronto. I'm a Navi Mumbaikar. I've been listening to your podcast for the last few months, and to be honest, big fan of your comic timing. Your jokes remind me of my friend, who's very witty, just like you. My question is that you've been using the word prejudice and Alzheimer's quite a lot. Is that on purpose?
How do I remember I've got Alzheimer's? How can I answer this question?
I just want to know in which situations you can use these words, especially prejudice. I want you to use that in multiple sentences.
On my long drive back, let me finish.
There are a few more words which you use a lot, like irony, paradox, and so forth.
Okay, I learn about 10 words every drive, and I try to, like Navjot Singh Sidhu.
I was just going to say
one kahawat or 2, and I just fling them around.
His thing is, these are my words for today. I have to use them
today. I have to find a way
whether relevant or not.
Imagine paradox is your word, and it's just not happening.
So irony, paradox, and Alzheimer's and prejudice were your words for a day, and you kept using them.
Alzheimer's is a true issue.
Cyrus, let's test your wit right now. Irony, paradox, Alzheimer's, and prejudice. Make a sentence with all 4.
It's irony that I, who fault everyone, can't remember anything because of Alzheimer's. And such a paradox that someone who's always finding fault in others is now having fingers pointed at him. Do I pass the test?
You missed the word prejudice, but you got close.
Yeah. Closer than prejudice bastard. I knew you'd say that.
All right, let's do one more question.
So these are the type of questions we get.
Wonderful. And from Toronto.
Yes, from Toronto.
Well, that's what he says. It could be Parel.
He said Navi Mumbai also in that, no?
He was more proud of Navi Mumbai. I was like, erase Navi Mumbai. He mentioned Toronto twice. No.
All right. Hi, Cyrus, Amit and Abbas. I'm Shiksha and I listen...
Say hi for Abbas, Ronnie, because they didn't know you were here.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Hi.
Okay.
Okay, we'll live with that.
I'm Shiksha and I listen to your podcast on my way to work every day and sometimes end up laughing out loud in the train and look like a crazy person. My question question for Cyrus is, you have mentioned that oftentimes people mispronounce your name. So if you had to pick a new name for yourself, what name would you pick?
Oh, fantastic.
That's a good question. I'd go with Raju. That's my always favorite go-to name.
Okay.
Raju.
Raju
Anywhere in India,
Brocha.
Raju is safe.
Raju Brocha.
But it's a sweet enough name. Yeah, it's an endearing name. You never get threatened when you say Raju's coming.
Yeah, that's true.
Raju's not a name which scares you or something. So I think you'll fit in well.
Yeah, I think Raju
I'll
works.
go with Raju.
Apparently, Amit is a word which is used as generic North Indian slur. I did not know this.
Amit is also very famous. I would not draw parallels. I mean, he's already mispronounced 200 things in a manner of speaking. So
No, I love Amit.
yeah, I love Amit.
Yeah, Amit's the best.
We all love Amit.
apparently-
Only Amit.
So Shiksa Rai is also from Toronto, who is asking this question. I just read the rest of it and I saw that she's also from
What's wrong with Toronto?
Are we absolutely sure these are coming from Toronto?
They've got podcasts in Toronto. They started bloody podcasts. Yeah.
Okay, one last question shall we do?
Yeah.
Bibek Mishra. Bibek, old listener. Bibek. In the midst of elections, we are ignoring a very important issue in cricket. I have noticed the foreign players don't care to know the names of commentators in the post-match presentation. They finish their interviews with thanks man or thanks mate instead of Harsha, thanks Harsha or thanks Sanjay or thanks LS, whereas the likes of Kohli and company seem to address the foreign interviewers with their names. This is disrespectful and uncalled for. What is your name? Wow, okay, both of you
This is a very, this is not a paradox. I can't use paradox here.
If I may, this is actually a very relevant observation because it happens not just with cricketers. Do you sometimes think that you end up using the name of
You ingratiate yourself with the foreigners.
Like they do say thanks Bish, they will say thanks Dooley.
Yeah.
But when it's Sanjay or Harsha, they will thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
They don't say hi, Sanjay.
Some of them do, but I can see a very irate cricket fan here who's looking at these little things. I don't know.
Come
I
on,
think
you're the expert here. You tell us. Call it, yes or no?
Sometimes you're more enamored by the overseas star.
Because Dooley is 6'5" and Bishop 6'6", something like that.
Yeah, also because you don't like the Indians. Yeah.
Whose side are you on?
I'm on the side of...
You think?
But is it a correct observation?
It's actually an accurate observation.
And we have to
I don't know if there's any malice, but I think if you point it out, it would be worth sort of addressing.
But you're also saying that with us Indians, we have this habit
Let's
of
be fair,
when the foreigners there, we tend to give them more bhav.
Let me confine it to cricketers. You're saying that now. Let me confine that to cricketers. I think generally they can do with a little media training so they don't end up making a fool of themselves on camera.
Excellent. So do the Indian cricketers also not say hello Sanjay and all?
No, they say, so according to him at least, he's saying foreign
It's a decent
cricketers.
observation.
What happens
Obviously, it won't be absolute.
What happens if you're half
Ashwin
Indian?
does.
What if you're like Ronnie Run and you're half Indian?
If you're who?
Sorry, forget it.
Yeah.
I don't even know who that is.
It doesn't matter.
All right.
It's all done.
Okay.
We got nothing left in this conversation. Let's go to Navi Mumbai and then Toronto. That's our future.
See you, Raju.
See you. All right, it's P, Raju. Okay, folks, great news for me, not so much for you. We're going thrice a week. We're not repeating shows. We're going on thrice a week, 2 regular shows and a new one, the birth of a new one called Land So, Left Arm Not So Orthodox. It's talking cricket. 2 great minds talking cricket. One who has never played the game and the other, well, relatively less inexperienced. The one and only, what's my name? Cyrus Brocha. Land So. New episodes every Wednesday. Okay, catch us on any of the podcasting apps, please. We beg you, we need you. Send us your questions on Twitter, on Cyrus Says In. Or you can email us, even if you're not female, on whatcyrussays@gmail.com.
And that's what Cyrus says.
How aware do you think you are of your laws and rights? Do you look up to laws when you are caught up in situations? Do you know what your rights are when you're stuck somewhere bad? Well, here's a show that can help you move an inch closer to being aware of what your rights are. Tune into Know Your Qanoon with me, Amber Rana. This is a podcast meant to answer all your law-related queries. Catch Know Your Qanoon every week on the IVM website or the app or anywhere you get your podcast from.
The most engaging and the most useful conversations you may have in your life are likely to be with your most challenging customers. Hi, I'm Ambi Parmeshwaran, and on this podcast, I will take you through my book, Sponge Leadership Lessons I Learned from My Clients. Packed with real stories about real people, but most of all, packed with the innumerable lessons I soaked up from some of the most iconic business leaders like Ratan Tata, Azim Premji, S. Ramadorai, Karsanbhai Patel, M. Damodaran, Dr. Kurian, and many more. Don't forget to tune in to the Sponge podcast. Keep sponging to keep learning.